Welcome to WinSouls TV. This is your host, Jeff Thomas. And today, the message is about being your brother's keeper. So in Genesis 4, 8 through 10, let's jump right on into that. So, what is happening here? Now Cain said to his brother, "Let's go out to the field." And while they were in the field, Cain attacked his brother and killed him. The Lord said to Cain, "Where is your brother Abel?" And he replied to the Lord, "I don't know." He replied, "Am I my brother's keeper?" And the Lord said, "What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground." Everybody knows the story of Cain and Abel. Cain led him out. Cain killed Abel. And then Seth was like the second version of Abel. But anyway, with that said, what does that mean to be your brother's keeper? So here, the reason that I spoke in that manner when Cain was speaking to the Lord was because there was like an indifference. There was like a callousness of his heart at that time. It's just kind of like, which was a lie. He was basically saying, "Hey, I don't know where he is." When he did know where he was, he killed him, right? But at that time period, it was just like, you know what? I am so jealous. I am so filled with pain or anger that, you know what? I've shut myself off to any type of expression of love just to act out that callousness of my heart. And so because of that, the Lord comes and he says, "Hey, where's your brother?" And he says, basically, "I don't know. I really don't care." You know, and so with that said, how does that apply to us? We have a lot of Christian brothers and sisters, whether they are still drinking milk, whether they're eating filet mignon now, you know, whether they're eating steak tips, whether they're eating ribeyes, you know, whether they're actually eating meat. So with that said, all of those brothers and sisters are on specific different levels, right? They're on specific planes with the Lord, depending on, you know, how much time the Lord spends with them, how much revelation the Lord has given them, all according to the Lord. Well, with that said, with that comes a specific responsibility. When you reach specific heights with the Lord, you have a specific responsibility in terms of looking after the younger ones, in terms of looking after the babes in Christ that may still be drinking milk. Well, in terms of being your brother's keeper, what does that mean? It means that you're warning them. You're letting them know, "Hey, I've kind of gone down this path and I know where it leads. I'm going to tell you where it leads, but I can't force you to make that decision. You have to make that decision on your own. But I'm going to warn you. I'm going to warn you about that." And so in this specific case, when the Lord came to Abel, he was just like, "I don't know where he is, and nor do I have a responsibility to him. Yeah, he's my brother, but I really don't care where he is. And I don't have that responsibility," because he allowed himself to have that specific callous heart. Now, this is the only place in the word where you will ever find your brother's keeper. It is only in one place in the whole entire Bible. And so if you have a study Bible, you'll be able to understand or break that specific area down. Now, let me give you an example. If you see your brother or your sister doing something out of the ordinary, and everybody else is just kind of following in, of course, you already know that the world will be following in on whatever he or she is partaking in. But you have a responsibility. Hey, pull them aside, whether they receive it or not. Warn them about, okay, here, look, I've gone down this path, or this is what the word says about this. You know, I'm just letting you know. It's up to you whether you want to stop, because you can lead a horse to water, but you sure can't make him drink. I can guarantee you that. And so with that said, you do have the responsibility of warning them and being your brother's keeper in terms of shepherding them or guiding them in the right direction in terms of your actions as well, but not necessarily trying to force them beyond their will to do something. There's a quote that actually says that if the person is forced beyond their will, they're of the same opinion still. So if you try to force that person to do something specific, then guess what? They still have that opinion, but they're just doing it out of either respect or even sometimes resentment, or they're just doing it because you're forcing them to do it. But then sometimes that leads to them having resentment toward you. And then also that leads to them not actually learning this specific lesson that they may need to turn back and go in the right direction that the Lord would have them go. So I'll just say, hey, continue regardless of any type of repercussion, regardless of any type of shame, regardless of any type of anger or anything that you would get from being your brother's keeper. Still go out there and warn them, because we have that responsibility, and warn them out of that love. And if they receive it, then they receive it. If they don't, then the Lord will have to touch and groom their hearts. But you guys be blessed and get out there and be your brother's keeper. Have a good one.